Good evening. Welcome to another seditious episode of Diatribes from the voice of doom. Now here's your treacherous and trepidatious host, voice of doom. Hello. I know you've missed me. I haven't been on YouTube in 2 or 3 days, and I know the world is wondering what the hell I'm thinking. But I've been pretty happy with things lately. I did a pretty good diatribe last time. It's kind of one of my favorites. So hopefully you can watch it. Now, I want to get a little bit angry. I'm not going to blow my top and scream my bloody head off. But I've been looking into some of this stuff that's been going on, and I'm not happy at all. Not at all. And I'm going to rehash a bit of my philosophy, and then I'm going to say what I'm trying to do to solve it. And then I'm going to give you a little background about the enemy. And when I say enemy, I don't mean Xi Jinping happiness. I do not mean Putin. We'll see who I mean. But it's going to be a good one. Now, my first 2 or 3 diatribes, I did the history of war in a very condensed form. And I said that Americans, and I use that term loosely, have a tendency to link things together and conjoin things to where you are stuck. And I said that's the way it is with war. That's why they've gotten away with the bullshit they've gotten away with, is they link the reason we fight a war to the warrior who fights the war. So if you criticize the reasons, you criticize the warrior. It's a beautiful setup for them, because they can continue spending trillions on armaments and nobody can say boo about it. We just go any which way, and we've done it since 1946, because we decided that the best way to solve our economic problems once and for all is to have perpetual war. And anybody with half a brain knows it. I don't know how many there are, 15, 20 people, but we're still linking. And I'm not going to put up with it anymore. They link it to, they link it in the January 6th idiocy. We do not condone violence, we do not condone rioting, but something's wrong here with the way they're treating this. No, you condone rioting. You should condone rioting. The stupid-ass, left-ass Antifa idiots can riot and burn down cities all they want. Nobody says boo about it. You link in. See, they linked in civil rights and injustice and oppression with their right to burn down cities. Now, everybody's starting to see it, but nobody's going to do anything about it. And I was talking to my friends and my cohorts today, and we are very much into current events, and we are not stupid. We do not talk about, I don't know who the vice president is. I don't know who the first president is, like these TikTok people that are brainless. We talk about issues as good or better than anybody you'll see on Fox or Newsmax or anybody. Glenn Beck, I don't care who. I'm smarter than them, and I talk to people who are smarter than them. So don't get off your high horse. Now, this linkage thing has got to go, because you just say, the Founding Fathers put their life on the line. The Minutemen, farmers, settlers, just people that are trying to get by, put their life on the line. They weren't fooling around. We wanted American independence, and whatever the motives were, I don't care. I don't care about all that conspiracy stuff. I mean, America became a separate country, and they did it through blood and sweat and tears. And we are not willing to do anything close to that. So don't talk about, we denounce the January 6th rioters because that's wrong. That's not the way to make change in whatever we are in. So the delinkage. Now, I'm hearing it all over again, and I'm not going to put up with it. If you are involved in an organization that's corrupt, then you shouldn't be there. If you have integrity, if you have a soul, if you care about people, if you care about the planet. If a organization is corrupt to the bone, then you get out of it. Otherwise, you're part of the problem. So I do not want to hear again from any of these guys. I'm going to get pissed if I hear it. We admire most of the rank and file of the FBI. They're very good people that do a very good job. I don't care if they do a good job. They're still in the damn organization, and they know it's corrupt to the bone. Or they have no moral integrity at all. It's just a job to me. I don't care if I'm Gestapo. I don't care if I'm some Russian KGB officer that goes and does what I'm told. You're not supposed to do what you're told if it's against the Constitution, for one thing, and forget that thing too. We've got to start all over again, and a lot of people are going to be not around to participate. But I get pissed at that. Linking in. De-link them. The FBI is a corrupt organization that has to be dismantled completely. I'll tell you why right now. It was established in 1908. It was called the BOI, kind of like Femboy or whatever they call them now. It's a boy who wants to, girl who wants to be a boy, but not a real boy, not a real manly boy, whatever. It was called the BI, the Bureau of Investigation, in 1908, or the BOI, BI or BOI. So they were starting that back then. It was meant to be a domestic intelligence and security agency under the federal umbrella, a federal law enforcement agency. So if the feds made a law, then only the FBI could enforce that law. It was changed to the FBI in 1935. Theodore Roosevelt established the Bureau of Investigation in response to William McKinley's assassination by anarchists. The same anarchists that they let do anything the hell they want to. And they don't give a crap's ass about any anarchists that have Antifa or BLM on their t-shirt. I'm going to skip down a bit and then go back. Their priorities are terrorism. But the terrorists are not terrorists from countries that want to blow us up now. The terrorists are the parents that want to interfere with their children's education, and they don't get an education. I mean, come on. God, don't go on TikTok unless you want to be depressed for like centuries. The teachers are not teaching them to read. Oh, yes, we are. Yeah, you're reading Dr. Seuss in 5th grade. Whatever. Alright, priorities. Terrorism, counterintelligence. That means finding spies. Cyber attacks. To combat public corruption at all levels. Oh, they're doing a hell of a job with that, aren't they? They are just aces. What a great organization they are that they've combated public corruption at all levels. Give me a break. They would need to hire 2 million FBI agents just to get to the bottom of the corruption of the so-called government of the United States. Used to be. Public corruption at all levels, combat. That's a good one. Civil rights. They're supposed to protect people's civil rights. Now, they've protected civil rights for many people. They also bugged Martin Luther King during I think it was called COINTELPRO, if I remember correctly. White collar crime. transnational criminal enterprises and significant violent crimes, like going with a gun and shooting a bunch of kids. So the FBI, that's their domain. Now, what have they done of note? Well, Japanese internment, they rounded up names before we even got into the war. And they knew who they were going to put away before Pearl Harbor was attacked. They were against sexual deviates, they call it. Not deviants, but deviates. You deviate from the sexual norm. J. Edgar Hoover purged all homosexuals from the FBI in 1951. None are allowed. I wonder why he did that. Do you think maybe that protest too much? Because your particular lifestyle was gay as hell. And everybody knows it. I mean, real gay. And he was anti-gay, and he was running around like on his high horse. This FBI is corrupt from the beginning to the end. Get rid of it. Do I have to be more clear about it? Well, let's go on. He was in charge of the Kennedy assassination investigation. Hell of a job they did with that. Real good job. We still don't know who pulled the trigger, and don't tell me freaking Lee Hart. Come on. You guys are out of your minds. Couldn't have been done that way. It's a setup from the beginning. He was set up to be assassinated by who? I don't know. I have my theories. I know who pulled the trigger and blew his head off. That's easy. It was the driver. But forget that. Now, what else did they fucked up? Controversies in Latin America. They infiltrated Latin America during the Cold War when they were worried about communism spreading everywhere. They had files on U.S. citizens, including Martin Luther King, John Denver, Frank Sinatra, and Elvis Presley. They were worried about them corrupting the youth. And now look what's happening. The youth are corrupted beyond all repair. And the FBI is applauding it and helping it along. Waco and Ruby Ridge were seminal moments in the FBI history where they fucked up big time. So I think I made my point rather well, didn't I? Get rid of them. And all these people that are in the FBI, quit. You can get a job at the border, helping out with them. You can get a job in any law enforcement agency. We're going to need lots of police. I'm not saying anything about that. The more we let this world go to fucking hell, we're going to need more police. Otherwise, everybody's going to have to fend for themselves. And the worldwide genocide that's already begun will go in earnest. So I think I made a few good points. Did I want to say anything else about these Fibbies? I don't know, people want to have a security blanket of some sort. And they look at Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., and he's a very good-looking, clean-cut white man who's in charge of the Federal Bureau, and he's an agent. And you go there, that's a good organization. I mean, it's all indoctrination in a way. I mean, you can see it, but, I mean, we need law enforcement, but not like this. They are corrupt. They are persecuting one person. I mean, I've heard stuff about this raid that maybe they're just getting stuff. Well, this is my idea. That they're trying to find documentation that implicates them. They're trying to find their own evidence that is showing that they are a bunch of lying, cheating scum. I mean, OMG, come on. Everybody knows about the documentation, the records, the libraries, the whole piece of crap shit. And yet we're not going to do anything. And that was the final straw when I'm talking to these people. Oh, we're going to get revenge. We're going to do something about all this. It's all going to turn on them. No, it's not, because you don't have the guts of a freaking farm boy, 14 years old, shooting a musket at a bunch of redcoats. You don't have it. You can talk all you want, cisgendered, bearded, caps, about how you'll fight because you got guns. You're going to fight. How many bullets do you have? We got to get to the root of it now, otherwise we're really going to be doomed. I don't like hearing all this crap about how it's the last straw now and we're going to fight back. They're not going to fight back. I dare them to fight back. So I'm going to leave it there. I could have said a lot more. I might make this a 2 or 3 or 10-parter because I can keep going on like this forever. So I hope you enjoyed some of my factoids. I think it's interesting to throw that crap in there. So I'll leave it at that. It's a good night, and I'm going to finish this gelato. It's getting into that now. Good night, everyone.